In this episode, we're going to read a chapter from Joseph Murphy's amazing book, Your Infinite Power to Be Rich. And in this episode, we're going to read a very important and specific chapter, chapter 10, The Law of Increase. So if you want to know more about the law of increase and how it can help you become rich, please stay tuned to the end of the episode. Also, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting my video. It really means a lot and it does help a lot. So please keep on doing so. I really love that I have such a loyal fan base, so to speak. Anyway, chapter 10, the law of increase. In Corinthians 3:6, I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. Increase is what all men and women throughout the world are seeking. It is the urge of God within them, seeking full expression in all phases of their lives. Your desire to grow wealthy, to expand, and to unfold is a fundamental impulse of your being. You wish to increase your circle of wonderful friends. You wish more and better food, clothing, automobiles, and homes, and more of the luxuries of life. Moreover, you desire to travel more, to learn more of the inner powers, and to experience a greater measure of beauty. In short, you want to live the life more abundant. You plant wheat in the soil and water the ground, but God gives the increase in the form of multiplying the wheat grains a hundredfold or a thousandfold. Likewise, whatever you plant in your mind in the way of thought, feeling, and imagination is increased in manifestation. Increase means the multiplication of good, the unfolding of your incipient thought or plan. If no action is initiated, obviously there can be no increase. Begin now to impress your mind with the idea of increase. You can't do it alone. However, it is God that gives it the increase. How one idea attracted thousands of dollars. Dr. Olive Gates, wife of the late Dr. Harry Gates, famous international lecturer on the psychology of daily living, has given me this interesting anecdote regarding her late husband. Dr. Gates was a very young man when he arrived from England in order to lecture in the United States. He had decided to lecture in Chicago on the laws of mind. His hotel was near to the Chicago Opera House. As he looked out the window, he saw a large crowd pouring out the building after a matinee performance. He said to himself, I'm going to speak on the laws of mind to a capacity audience in that opera house. God will bless me and all those who listen to me with the blessed increase, pressed down and shaken together and running over. Dr. Gates had only $100 when he went to see the manager of the opera house in order to rent it for lectures on the psychology of daily living. The manager laughed, but as Dr. Gates talked about the power of the mind, the manager became intensely interested and told him he would give him a week to collect the several thousand dollars necessary for rental of the opera house. During the course of the week, Dr. Gates kept affirming, God give it the increase. The idea of mind is good, it blesses all, God magnifies it and multiplies it. Dr. Gates then met Mr. McCormick of Chicago, a multimillionaire who became intensely interested in Dr. Gates' mental therapeutics, and he gave a lunch for him, inviting 11 guests, all also multimillionaires. Dr. Gates addressed them on the powers of the mind. The result was that each one contributed a large amount of money and thereby paid for all the necessary advertising as well as the large sum necessary for the rental. Dr. Gates' dream had come true. Crowds could be seen leaving the opera house after each of his lectures, just as he had imagined from his hotel window a few weeks previously. Dr. Gates has planted the mental picture in his mind, accompanied by a feeling of joy and restfulness in foreseeing the accomplishment of his idea, while knowing in his heart that God gave it the increase. How a school teacher gives increase to all students. A school teacher who was regularly coming to my lecture told me that she used to have great trouble with unruly children in school. However, she adopted the following procedure with remarkable and amazing results. For 15 minutes every morning before she started class, she isolated herself, became quiet in her mind, and silently affirmed as follows: I am a creative center of God, and I give increase of love, wisdom, and understanding to all the boys and girls in my class. I'm now conveying the idea of advancement and growth to each pupil. I have the unshakable faith that each pupil learns quickly and is inspired, harmonious, loving, and most cooperative. I have the firm conviction that each child in my class is an advancing student, and my conviction is conveyed to his subconscious mind. It is so. In the years that followed, this teacher has been complimented time and time again on the order and discipline in her classes, and the grades of her pupils are exceptionally good. Recently, she has been promoted and transferred to another school with a big increase in salary. She claimed continuous increase for herself and for her pupils. And she has found that in giving increase to all her pupils, God has blessed them as well as herself. She has a motto on her desk which reads, "What I want for myself, I want for everybody." It really paid off for her. From cabin carpenter to skyscraper builder. Recently, I returned from lecturing in Phoenix, Arizona, where I spoke in the Church of Divine Science conducted by Dr. Jacob Zober, formerly a distinguished rabbi who is now conducting non denominational services on mental and spiritual law. While lecturing there, I chatted with a man who told me that 20 years ago he had been a carpenter doing odd jobs in that desert town. He had lived in an old dilapidated cabin on the nearby mountain. However, he had felt an unquenchable desire to build skyscrapers comparable to those in New York City. He began to say to himself, "I'm getting rich, I'm making others rich, and I'm conferring blessings on all." Following this changed attitude of mind, he began to attract men and women who wanted his services. His carpentry business increased so rapidly that he couldn't handle it and he had to hire additional men. He built a house for a very rich man who come from the east for the benefit of his health. As a result of his excellent work, this man set him in a business as a contractor, retaining a small interest in the business. When the wealthy man eventually passed on, he left sole ownership to the carpenter. Today, this former carpenter is worth many millions of dollars and already has built several skyscrapers. Begin now to feel rich like this carpenter, and you'll feel amazed at the unexpected blessing which will come to you from all sides. You'll be able to expand into larger business combinations, and inevitably, with God's help, you will receive all the wealth you need for your plans to move onward and upward. No matter who you are or what you are doing, whether you are a stenographer, secretary, lawyer, chemist, taxi driver, or clergyman, if you begin now to focus your mind on the thought of wealth, health, and happiness for others, they will sense it subconsciously and will be attracted to you by the universal law of attraction. You will become fabulously rich and prosper spiritually, mentally, and materially. Why people beat a path to his door? A young physician whom I know astonished his confreres with his phenomenal success. Patients come to him in throngs. He told me that the first day he opened his office, he meditated as follows: "I give increase of life to others. God is the great physician, and I am his instrument. He heals through me. Everyone I touch is miraculously healed, and I'm constantly in tune with the infinite healing presence. I give thanks for my success, achievement, and for the riches of life." Every day he prays in the above manner. He cannot handle the number of patients who come to him, and he has to refer many of them to other doctors. How renewal of mind benefited a minister. Recently, I talked with a minister whose congregation had fallen down to about 50 or 60 people. During the conference, we determined that the reason for the deterioration was that he was not giving them what they wanted or needed. He forthwith reversed his attitude of mind and began to teach people how to lead a full and happy life, how to prosper, how to establish harmonious human relationships, how to love and be loved, how to prosper in business or profession, and how to be healthy, vital, and inspired. He had realized that he could not have given those qualities to others except they were part of his own life. He began to practice what he preached, and he demonstrated the law of life from his pulpit. In 3 months' time, he has built up his church to over 500. His people tell him, "These are the things we want to hear. We have a new man in the pulpit. He has been transformed by the renewal of his mind. This minister has proved that the law of increase is as mathematically certain as the laws of chemistry, physics, and gravitation." Perpetual opportunity for advancement exists for you. Some people say that they can't get ahead and be promoted because they are working in a place when there is no opportunity for advancement or where wages are set by certain standards. All this is not necessarily true. You can use the law of minds to advance and to move forward in life in any circumstances. The secret is to form a clear mental picture of what you want to be. Know that the power and wisdom of your subconscious will back you up, and persevere and be determined to be what you want to be. Have faith that your mental picture will be developed in your subconscious mind and become objectified in your existence. Love what you're doing now and do the best you can where you are. Be cordial, kind, affable, and full of goodwill. Think big and think of riches, and your present work will simply be a stepping stone to your triumph. Be conscious of your true worth and claim riches in your mind and claim riches for every single person you meet during the day, whether be it your boss, your associate, the foreman, a customer, or a friend. All those around you. You will feel your radiation of riches and more advancement and infinite intelligence will very soon open up a new door of opportunity for you. There is nothing in all the world to hold you back but yourself, your own thought and concept of yourself. When you are seeking and picture advancement, and when the opportunity for more money and increased status and prestige is presented to you, if you feel receptive to the idea, take it and it will prove to be a step toward greater and grander opportunities. Enter now into the advancing life and experience the riches of God here and now. How a businessman overcame his negative thinking. A woman once complained to me that her husband was constantly blaming the government, the taxes, and the competitive system for his lack of sufficient money. In talking to him, I discovered that he thought he was a victim of conditions instead of a master of his situation. He began to realize, however, that he could enter upon a creative plan of thinking which would transcend his environment and condition, and that he was a citizen of the kingdom of God. His daily prayer was as follows: the law of increase is inevitable, and my mind is constantly open to bountiful increase. My business grows, expands, and unfolds in a wonderful way, and my finances are always multiplied exceedingly. I am richly and abundantly supplied within and without from the infinite storehouse within me. I open my mind and my heart to the abundance and riches of God, and I'm increasingly rich within and without. He's now in business for himself and he's exceedingly prosperous. Think of these things. 1. Increase is what all men are seeking. It is the urge of God seeking expression through you, telling you to come on up and rise to a high level. Number 2, plant a mental picture in your mind accompanied by a feeling of joy, restfulness, and contemplate the happy ending, and you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. Number 3, you are a creative center and you can give an increase of love, wisdom, and understanding to all. As you give, you receive, and wonders will happen in your life. Number 4, let these truths sink into your mind. Inhibit them with faith and expectancy. I'm getting rich, I'm making others rich, and I'm conferring blessings on all. This is the royal road to riches. Let me repeat this. This is the royal road to riches. Number 5, give increase to others in your thought life and realize that you are an instrument through which God's love, truth, beauty, and riches flow. Claim that these qualities are constantly flowing through others also, and you will attract riches, friends, customers, clients, and marvelous experiences. 6. If you are a minister, teach people the abundant life and how to realize it. Teach them the laws of prosperity and the science of happy, joyous, and successful living, and there will be no empty seat in your church. Number 7. Opportunities are always knocking at your door. Form a clear mental picture of what you want to be and feel, and know that the power of your subconscious will bring it to pass. This is your opportunity now. Number 8, there is no one to blame but yourself. Cease blaming the government, taxes, competition, and work condition. You are a citizen of infinite mind and infinite riches. Think big, picture riches, and feel that you are rich, and the law of attraction will do the rest. And this is the end of the excerpt. Once again, for those of you who have heard of my other readings and commentaries on Joseph Murphy, you probably know that I'm a really big fan of Joseph Murphy. And this is no exception. This chapter is really important. And although it might not seem as important as other chapters, I chose this particular excerpt because I think it's more important and people give it credit to. Why? For one simple reason. I think, unfortunately, but it is what it is, we live in a life and we live in a modern world with medias and technology and social media, etc., and things of that nature, that makes it easy for us to, and even more convenient for us to be envious and to covet. And I think a lot of us, including myself, have left ourselves in a predicament or a situation that was unwarranted and unwanted because we were hating, because we were envious of other people who seemingly had what we wanted for ourselves. And that's why this chapter is so important, because it is not only a solution to envy, it's also an antidote to get what you want. And I use antidote because antidote is the word. It heals you from this envy. And not only does it heal you, it gives you what you want. Wayne Dyer used to say when he was still alive that if you want something, wish it for someone else and you will get it. And that's pretty much the whole chapter of the law of increase. Forget about the God part if you're not Christian. If you're Christian, it's all good. If you're not Christian, if you don't believe in God, if you're an atheist, it's okay. Don't worry about this. Change the word God with universe, whatever. Nowadays, at that time, 40, 50, 60 years ago, they all use God. Nowadays, they use universe or the infinite intelligence, creative power of the universe, whatever the fuck you want to use. As long as it feels good. It's the essence of the words, not the words in and of itself. So don't mind the words God or universe or anything. That's not really important. The subconscious mind is the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is conscious mind. That's the most important thing. And knowing that you can actually work with both and manifest whatever you want is the most important. The words don't matter so much. So yeah, the law of increase is super important because it is about adding value to people, genuinely adding value. As you can see, there's many affirmations and auto suggestions in the chapter I just read, sorry, about others, wishing for others, wishing happiness for others, and your intent is to give to others. All this the small anecdotes in this chapter were about how one can give more to others, and by virtue of giving to others, they will in turn receive. So remember this whenever you see someone you envy. As soon as you envy, stop that thought and train yourself. That's super important because that is what keeping you from getting what you actually want. Stop yourself from hating, stop yourself from envying, stop yourself from being jealous, stop yourself from coveting. Just wish even more. If someone has a lot of money, wish them even more money, more success. And even if they have done it if you know that they have cheated the system, or they are crooks, or they did it in a criminal way, you don't even need, don't be envious, don't be negative. They are doing a negative thing and karma will get them. But you don't need to react to this negativity and indulge in this negativity. Just don't brush them away. But if you see people, nice people, people you know, and you feel that they have genuinely attracted what they have in a proper way, wish them even more. Be happy for them, because when you're happy for them, you express upon your subconscious mind that you are also worthy of receiving the same thing. And that's very important. And that's the way to deal with envy. And also, yes, find a purpose where you can be of service to others, whether it's entertainment, being a preacher, fishing. Everything can be of service to others. And by wishing for others and by being of service to others, you automatically increase. And God, the universe, give it of increase, as Joseph Murphy would say, as the Bible would say. So that's very important. That's for those of you who are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk. That's pretty much his motto. It's like giving, 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 even unconditionally giving, giving everything, and believing that karma and what goes around comes around. And that's what I will leave you with. And I hope you guys love this reading and love my comments on this chapter. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon.